Hello.
Hello. Welcome back
Hello.
to the stream of the Chloe Sanctuary. Big hello from Cecil. Or is that KK? No, you are Cecil. You look like a Cecil.
That's a Cecil. The KK is on the other side.
I knew it. That you are the Cecil, huh?
I am surrounded by male umbrellas. What are you doing up there, Luce?
She looks awfully cute.
Wake up. No ball. Jasmine taking her usual nap. Hey, Cecil. No, we don't do that. Come here.
Oh, he's just chilling. Is he watching the Mando now there behind back there is no Mando?
No, Mander
Oh,
wouldn't come. Mander turned his back on me when I asked him if he wanted to come in.
hi Cecil.
And we have colder weather now for a while, so
No.
too chilly for the Lucy, that's for sure.
Miss Bikini Belly. The only right spot for you is a beach on Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty silent today in chat. No one here so far.
Yep, we scared them all away.
Did we? Oh, Calvin is here. Hello,
Hi,
Calvin.
Calvin. Hi, Calvin. Come on, Cecil, say hello again. Hello. Hello.
It's
Hello.
just sweet how he was staring over. Oh, and what do we have here? Little toy. Oh, sweet. Oh, handing the sugar toy. That's interesting. Playful girl. Oh, Calvin said hello to Cecil. And then we have Falconsu here. So welcome, Falconsu.
Hi, Falcon Sue. What? What did you say? I heard you mumbling. You mumbling down there, big boy? Are you? Yeah? Mother? What are you doing?
Oh no, is Cecil shy today, so he doesn't want us to watch what he's up. And Cecil, what are you going to do? Do you have any plans?
Yeah, he wants to get over here and then try to get my attention by pulling on my clothing. I'm not going to let him do that. You're not going to do that. No.
He is not really a wild child today.
He's working on it, aren't you?
But what are you contemplating?
The architect of evil. What are you doing?
Oh no, he's not the architect of evil. Look at that face.
Hi, Cecil. What's up, dude? Why are you acting so strange? Why are you acting so strange? Hmm? Are you having a Boo Radley day? Hmm? Hmm? What are you doing? What are you doing?
So welcome to Tia Shah. He says Cecil is beautiful. Thanks. Cecil likes hearing that.
Yeah, yes, he does.
He
You
definitely
get.
likes when we tell him that he is handsome.
What do you think, Cecil? What do you think? Cecil, bird. Cecil is a good boy. Yeah. That translates, even though I don't think about it, to a secondary reinforcer for him playing with a toy instead of being up on my side trying to get my attention by pulling my clothing. Yeah, there you go. Good boy, Cecil. Good boy. What are you doing down there? Huh, KK? Sugar's still playing with her toy.
So we have the first one who seems to have recognized it. Our Falcons is asking, is anybody else hearing strange birdie tweets in the background, or have I lost my mind? No, you haven't.
No, just a loop of some bird sounds.
So Don has bird sounds on. I'm not sure, can the birds hear the bird sounds or only we?
No, no, they can't.
Okay, so it's just for us. So we have more the rainforest jungle experience. I said to Don it's calming, and if he likes to have it on during the live stream, and he said, yeah. So if you don't like it, tell us in chat, so we will stop it. But otherwise, I like birdie streams.
What are you
Like
doing,
birdie.
Cecil? Sea salt.
So
Yes, sir.
hello to Jim and Jamie,
Hello, Tom and Jamie.
and welcome Giselle Loves New York.
Hello, Giselle. Can you say hello? Say hello. You can. You did once this week. Once. One time you said hello. Come here.
So Tiki
Come here.
Tiki is here as well. Welcome.
Hi, Tiki Tiki. Back when the dinosaurs were still roaming the earth, I used to go to the Tiki Tiki room in at Disneyland. It was the height of animatronics at the time. I'm taking it. It's mine. Eh. No, you're not going to go over there and start doing that again. Nope. There's no rationale for it. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
No, Falcons, so
You.
everything is all right. You're not imagining bird noises. noises from these guys would sound otherwise. Mostly the microphone blocks it anyway, since they are far too loud, so they are above threshold and that isn't transmitted anymore. So most often when I cannot hear anything or so, it's actually because Don gets the full soundtrack of Folk of Cockatoos. Can you guys be
Cockatoo.
loud? I mean, even two little budgies can be awfully loud, especially when you try to hear something on the phone or trying to learn French with your app or something like that. Forget it. Falkatsu asks, can the hooligans hear the jungle birdies? Not yet.
No.
They might
Nope.
sometimes or often have soundtrack when we are not live, but these are specifically added as overlay to the video.
I see. So you're
And
needy today?
she plays birdie sounds in the background too with her Alexa. I think that's something for Cecil. Cecil, do you need an Alexa? Your own Alexa. Maybe you start talking then, but I think it's more probable that Alexa learns your body language.
Well, with Cecil, he doesn't. He's one of those birds that doesn't like talking. He'll do it sometimes, but
At least he's not, verbally talking. I mean, he has a lot of expression, so one actually knows what he's going to or wants you to say, but he doesn't do it with verbal cues.
no. Body language, Mr. Body
Mhm.
Language. Hi, KK. What's up? Yeah, I'm dealing with your buddy over here. He's kind of needy right now.
So, hello, Lisa Banerjee. Maybe
Hi,
Cecil
Lisa.
wakes up. Cecil, your fan number one has appeared. I think he's playing cute for Lisa. She sells birds. Lisa is barking to the bird sounds. That's hilarious. That reaction, like, oh, birds.
Bark at the other birds. There you go.
Mhm.
What's the matter, Cecil? You having a Boo Radley day? Are you? Yeah, this is how he acts when he gets needy. Like he was coming over trying to sidle up to me and nip on, not so much nip, but pull on my clothing to get me to pet him. So I'm just petting him now.
He needs a little bit special care.
He has those days, don't you?
A good train, little head massage. I swear today I could use one of these whirlpool bathtubs where you can sit in and then get these massage bubbles on, so you can get a back massage. It's cold and rainy outside, so just the right weather for having a bath.
Years ago, I used to sell those. So
Mm.
Kohler doesn't make it anymore, but they used to have a thing called the habitat where you could actually set it so that it would. You'd have a tropical rainstorm, and then you could be in the desert for 10 minutes, and then go back to some other pick some other weather pattern, and it had the sound effects and the water was controlled by it. And we stopped making it. It was 20. I think it was $25,000
Oh,
back
Tiki
then.
Tiki says, I rather have rain today instead of the snow. So it's a pity we cannot exchange that because I prefer the snow. since this winter we basically had no, not really snow at all, at least not here where I live. So actually, I'd be fond of a little snow. 6 to 8 inches today. Oh, that sounds perfect. Just right enough to make a little snow angel throwing a few snowballs. No offense, snowball.
Yeah, Snowball, they're talking about you. They're talking about the snowball. Are you done playing with your toy? Finally, she threw it away. Been chewing
So
on that
shook.
for a while now. Haven't you,
Mm.
girl? A snowball. Hi, Snowball.
Shoveling snow yaks. Okay, I understand. Well, when you only have to do it, I don't know, for twice or 3 times every year, so it's actually fun. But I know when you have to do it the whole winter, so it's certainly it's annoying.
Yeah, this is the Mojave Desert. The first week I was here, it snowed. They haven't had that in, I don't know, 20 years. And it stayed on the ground for a day, which is just insane.
Mm. Well, was that then that year where also there appeared a lake in Death Valley?
I don't know. I know that you have to be careful if you're going to go through there when there's weather conditions. I know that much. Sorry,
Mm.
Snowball. I'm Cecil. Sorry, Cecil.
Tiki
Almost.
says she lives by the Wisconsin Illinois border, and there they get a lot of snow.
I'm not
So do you
fond of
also have
snow.
hills and mountains so you can go skiing?
Mm.
I mean, when you have that much snow, having some winter sport or so at least would be fun.
Well, Giselle, I'm not fond of snow.
Oh,
I
I
always say,
know. We all know
oh,
why.
uh, well, they didn't know when I was a kid why I didn't like it. Neither did I. They would say, "Well, we're going to the snow," and I'd go, "Oh no, not that." My hands would never warm up.
Hmm. What At least our climate is not cooling down. Otherwise, you would end up as Ötzi, mummy, in the snow.
I just keep moving from one desert to another. I can handle it when it's 115 outside. I can't handle it when it's 30 degrees outside. Oh, thank you.
Hmm.
Oh, did you decide to grace us with your presence there, little miss? Hmm? You're like, oh, I see KK. I can't come over. I'll close my eyes again. I have finally taught her to give Lorelei about 10 minutes before she starts bugging Lorelei.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's like a freight train, right in your face. Preen me, preen me.
Mm. Choo, choo, choo. Beep, 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 beep. They're all sleeping. It actually fits to the birdie sounds. Like there are some birdies singing when the rest of the flock is sleeping.
Yeah, they're all pretty content where they are, until this is over, and then they'll all start in on me.
Mm.
Right, Cecil? Well, might as well get on topic. It's been a while. Doing a basic exam is, you just pretend you're Dr. Frankenstein. And you start by looking at their eyes to make sure there's nothing going on. There's no crusting around the eyes. Or just take a good look at the eye. No crusting. That's the main thing you're looking for. No redness, no unusual redness or anything. Check both eyes. Then look in their nares and make sure they're not clogged. Sometimes they get clogged with feathers or that kind of thing, which a toothpick can take out. So just be gentle. Look at the beak to make sure that there's nothing malformed, nothing going wrong with it. You know, the upper isn't getting too long. There aren't divots in the bottom. He's wanting me to pet him now, but you can. I just open up his beak to look to make sure that looks all good down there. And you can you learn to open their beak so you can look down their throat, which I don't want to bother him right now, but that's basically what you do. You just put your fingers on the upper portion of the beak and wiggle a finger on the lower as a cue to open the beak. And then you can look to make sure there's nothing going on inside. It looks normal. And you'll know what normal is by doing it. By actually looking down there, you get used to what it should look like. So if it starts to change color or something, then you need to have them looked at. So you look for any beak defects, and then you just take your hands and kind of go over their skin. You learn to go around the feathers, but you go around and while you're doing that, you look to make sure there's no blood feathers. Now, normal for a feather to have blood when it first comes in, but if it's getting long and it still has blood in it, then you're going to have to watch it closely. And just take and go down with your fingers and feel. And get used to what your bird feels like. So you can, and you will notice after a while if something goes wrong, you find a lump or something. So basically, you're going to do that. Then you want to check their wings, and of course, I have them trained to open their wings. So, like with him, you can see he still chews that outer feather a little bit, but he's not getting any worse. So you get them to open their wings, so you can look at their wings and feel all the way down their body. Check their feet, make sure there's no funny growths on them. The pads look normal. Nothing's starting to look odd. And, the best time to do it is after you've gone to the vet and they've done an exam and you've watched them do the exam and they say everything's okay. Now that's your base, right? And when you see something go outside of that base, you can take pictures too. Take pictures of the feet. Take pictures of their eyes, and that way you can, is there something wrong? You can look back at the pictures. Put them in a little folder on your phone, baseline or normal or something like that. If I can get KK, he's down here digging. But you can tell when you look at his beak is not normal because he has scissor beak. So Cecil overgrows on the top just a little bit. It has to be trimmed. But not much, just a little bit here. About every month you take a tiny bit off. Lucy has it's important to look at her every day because that lower section of her beak can look like it's a picture of a mountainside. You can just, and if you're looking at the mountains and how the mountains go up and down like that, her lower beak does that because of what they did to her upper beak and they damaged it. So nice veterinarian, all into money. So if she has to have her beak work done, I do all that. But I've had training from the vets, so make sure they don't have any discoloration around their vent, which could indicate something's going wrong. Listen to make sure they're not grunting when they're going to the bathroom. That means they need more liquid in their diet. And if you can get them some exercise, take them outside with an aviator harness and fly them around, get more exercise for them. That grunting means they're using their stomach muscles to push the feces out of their you know, vent. So if that's what they're doing, then they're going to have problems. That's too much pressure, and it'll eventually cause a prolapse. So that's what we believe anyway. Nobody knows because you can't do a clinical study on that. You'd have to get hundreds of birds in the study, and it's not possible. But this one, she used to do that groaning sound, straining sound. She doesn't anymore. The mash has a lot more moisture in it. She likes to eat it. Edamame has a lot of moisture in it too. So I'm talking about you. I am. The birdie biscuit I make's pretty got a lot of moisture in it too. So unless I leave it overnight, I some of them get a little night snack of biscuit. By the morning, it's turned hard, but pretty soft when it goes in there. Hi, sweetheart. Check the condition of the feathers while you're looking at them. You know, you see a feather. Come here, boy. Let me show that. All right, this side. You start to see feathers like this is an indication of some feather destructive behavior. Pretty much stays now with the outside feathers. And it's funny, it's the outside secondaries and the outside primary that he tends to do that to. If it gets much worse, he's going to have to go on Haldol. But so far, I haven't had to do that. Mainly with him is giving him enough toys, but you got to watch it because if it starts spreading, then you got a problem. So the feather condition, check for blood feathers, check the body to make sure that there's no lumps or anything developing. I'm sorry, did I bother you? I didn't mean to. And checking the feet, right? And it's something you can learn to do pretty quickly. So, and then when you go to the vet and the vet starts doing it, they're used to it. So, if you've got come on, Barry, it's in there somewhere. Stethoscope. If you have a stethoscope, you can bring that out. And even if you don't know what you're doing, you can put it on their chest, get them used to the idea. That way, when the vet breaks it out, they aren't going to freak out. You've probably all seen the dog that they have to put. They're pulling with the leash to get them going to the veterinarian. You don't want the birds to be like that. Hey, you guys.
I've
Hey.
seen dogs in the waiting room of the vet shaking. So that's some of them are really, really afraid of that.
Mander must have had some bad experiences with a vet, but he's
Okay.
okay now. I mean, he's okay to be handled by a vet, but he used to just try to flop on the floor, get away from the vet.
Mm,
But
well,
he's been handled so many times in examinations at home that it's just another exam.
that's great. I know some of your birds really like to go to the vet, that they can meet people, having some fun, car ride
Yep.
for free.
Yeah. Some of them love the car rides. Pippa does. She
Mm.
loves a car ride. Bob likes a car ride.
So
Nova.
Jocelyn
No.
Triggle joined us. So welcome, Jocelyn.
Hi, Jocelyn. Come on, you guys are not transformers down there, turning into a casel. Be gentle with the foot, silly birds. You watching Snowball? If you get into a habit of regularly checking your birds like that, then it makes it easier going to the vet. But you'll catch things that you weren't aware of. You'll see something like, what's that? Um, just when you first look at them, you may catch something. One day I looked at Sugar recently, and she had what looked like a tiny bit of blood on one of her feathers on her head. And so then I did a full exam and found the spot where she had a feather that had broken off near the skin. And fortunately, the super clot was all it needed, but it was sitting there and it could have gotten infected. So, and if you keep notes on things you find, so that you can keep checking on it, Snowball has that. He has the tendency, and this has all been tested. He overgrows the pad on his left foot. So I have to Dremel that. Sometimes it's Dremel, sometimes just I use a hi sweetheart. Sometimes I just use a emery board on it. It depends on what's going on, but it will tend to overgrow, and then he tends to limp. So I have to watch that. With Cecil, it's the upper beak and his other destructive behavior, which is minor, but it's there to keep an eye on. And every bird's got some issue. With Lucy, her left eye you have to watch because Bob went after her that one day, and sometimes her left eye doesn't open and close normally, and you have to put um, I put ketoprofen in her eye, so. But not much lately. It's more or less healed. I think there's a little neurological damage on the eye, but that's why he's not in here because he just can't behave in this room. Too many places to run and hide, and that's what he does. And then he'll attack another bird and then run away from me. And he can't do that in the aviary, so he doesn't tend to do it there. With Jasmine, you have to watch her chest because if she starts plucking again, she doesn't actually pluck so much as she does cut her skin. So you have to watch her chest and make sure she doesn't start that. Along with observing her during the day to see she doesn't spend too much time preening her chest. With Sugar, it's mostly what we would call the shoulder where she starts that. So keep an eye on that. This one, it's the overgrowth. He's just had his lower beak done, so. But when you've got a bird with scissor beak, when you look down at their head, straight down, you'll see that the beak is just off center. And even if you fix the lower section of the beak, it'll develop at an angle again. And so about every week you're grinding that down. And most people don't have an avian vet next door, so you can't go every week to have it done. You have to learn how to do it yourself. So anyone with a bird that has scissor beak probably needs to know how to work a Dremel. And that means the other things that go along with it, which is the positive reinforcement. Now, he doesn't have a problem with that. And he'll let you do it because it's been done to him by so many different people. It's just like he's used to it. When it comes to his nails, it's different. He does not like his nails done, so I have to put a little collar around him to do his nails, but it doesn't take long. He's only got 6 toes anyway. Who knows what happened to the other ones? The inner back toe is missing on both feet, so. What are you doing? Cecil, why are you sitting on him? Cecil, what are you doing? What, what are you guys doing? Hmm? What are you doing? If you start regularly, even once, just once a week, running through a routine, starting at the head and working your way down, when you get it down to a minute, and you'll be able to see because you get used to things. If you see like a little growth growing somewhere near the nares or around the eyes, or see something going on with the foot, you can start tracking it. But if you wait until it becomes obvious, it's harder for the vets to deal with that. My baby, what's up? What's up with the Cecil? Mm, my KK. Sea salt. Hi, Cecil. Hey, Cecil. Good boy.
One troublemaker is missing. Everybody's calm.
Yeah, well, if I brought in Pippa, that calmness would be gone, but somebody might get hurt.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
suggest that. I just
oh no,
wanted to say.
I don't know. There may be a way to start calming her down. So
Mhm. But we just got a question in from Giselle, so maybe we can care for that. The question is, do you have any suggestions on how to approach the beak? I haven't done so with Caesar.
hail Caesar. Well, it's different for every bird. For example, now with a cockatoo, for the most part, if I get a hold of the upper portion of the beak, they actually can't bite me. Okay, so but with some, depending on the species, some birds it's hard to get a hold of the upper beak like that. But the way you usually start with something like dealing with the beak is when you're petting the bird on the head, just come down and pet the beak a little at the same time so that they get used to you touching their beak. And eventually you can do the same thing with the lower, although that's a little less, you have to be a little more cautious there depending on the species. And you start touching the beak while you're petting them. And then eventually you can just reach around and grab their beak and they don't care. Has a fancy name. It's called desensitization, but that's based. You're just taking. They're not sensitized to having their beak touched anymore. So while you're petting the head, then just touch the front beak. Touch the upper beak a little bit, and then eventually you can start petting them a little bit on the side of the head and touching the beak. That's how I usually start out. That's how I started out with KK, and he lets me grind his beak now with a diamond bit. So, which when I do it, I have to. As I'm grinding, I have to cover the eyes so they don't get any of that grit in their eye from their beak. So, like in that case, because I'm going to be grinding a beak, I will put my hand over the eyes just a little bit to get them used to it, having their head covered. He'll let me do that now, but for the most part, with his beak, I can just use it. I have a little clipper I can use to clip the end of his beak off. So as long as I do that about every 2 weeks, he's okay. Much longer than that, I would have to use the Dremel. He sees the Dremel, he's not too thrilled about it. If I cover his eyes, he'll take a Dremel, but he's not thrilled about it. So that's what I would do. Just start touching the beak while you're petting. Most birds like to be petted, so not all, but most. Spirit matter. Are your parakeets from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds or what?
These two angel birds sitting in the cage while all around them the hell breaks out. But we don't want to spoiler if anyone hasn't seen the movie yet.
The only thing is, if you're going to watch it and you know how birds are when you watch it, you'll just laugh because you can tell that the birds aren't really being aggressive. If you did that with parrots, it would be a lot more frightening to the average person because of their big beaks. Or he could have done it with magpies in Australia, and then it would have been the real thing. You know?
I think with kookaburra would be even more hilarious.
Yeah, well, the kookaburras, they make a fun noise, but they got the funny long beaks too. But
No,
they sound like
Spirit
they're.
just explained. They are just so little, and I'm afraid they'll help me if I grab them. Yeah, that I know that feeling since budgies are really super tiny, weight to between 40 and 50 grams, and you are not allowed to squeeze them. So actually, it's pretty easy to hold them tight since what most of them do is they don't have their wings tied to their body, but try to spread them a bit. So actually, you can hold them pretty loose without them having them escaping. But I know what you mean. So they are super tiny, and our hands are big. And when you really want to handle them, and well, I'm not sure if they hate you. I always had the feeling with my budgies that when I do it also they understand that human does something stupid which they don't like, but just happens once in a while.
Yeah, you can build trust by giving them treats with your hand. You find that one little treat they like. If it's a sunflower seed, which I would give them half of a sunflower seed for a budgie, but if it's sunflower seeds, a bit of cashew, a bit of almond, whatever it is, a little tiny bit of millet, you offer that. The only time you offer that is with your hand, and after a while, they start accepting your hand because it has the treat on it. Then they associate your hand with treats, and eventually you can put one hand out, and then bring the other hand up over it with the treat, and then slowly, do it where your hand with the treat gets closer and closer to this hand, and eventually you can have it on the other side of the hand, and then try to get them to step up. Just take your time with that; it'll work. If they really like that treat and they don't get it any other time, eventually they'll step onto your finger. But when I say eventually, it depends on the bird. It could take 6 months. It could take a year. It might happen in 2 weeks. They have to overcome the fear of that giant hand, and
Mhm.
it takes a while, usually. but it
Spirit
can.
says he wants to trim their nails but is too afraid of hurting them. Well, in that case, maybe I would actually let do it the vet. So for that, you not even need a special trained avian vet, but just maybe a vet who can handle birds,
Yeah.
who so because they're far less nervous in handling animals and know where to cut and where to stop, and if something is that it bleeds a little or so, they have the right stuff to stop the bleeding immediately. So usually then I'd go for that. And maybe what kind of purchase do you have? Because usually budgies also they trim their nails themselves. Just one, if one grows in a wrong direction. I had that once. Um, that a budgie had one nail which grew in yeah, completely different direction as it should, and that was cutted by the vet, but now it was cutted in such a good way that it actually seems to grow in the right direction. Spirit says like a wet tech visit. Yeah, I think even a wet tech or so would certainly be a good help in that. So maybe one can help the budgie and the other can care for the nail.
Yeah. Usually with budgies, it's a two-person operation, um, because they're so delicate. You get them. You have to have one person kind of towel them, and the other person does the cutting. But I've known people who could, their budgies would actually let them cut their toenails, but it's not that common. Um, any bird can be trained to one way or another let you do the job. For example, with Romeo, when I cut his nails, I just call him up to the cage and talk to him, and then show him the nail clippers and clip his nails while he's inside the cage. Then, after I'm done with that, I take him out and I weigh him. It's he doesn't feel comfortable standing on a perch getting his nails clipped, but he's okay if you clip him through the cage bars. I don't understand him sometimes, but he's the one that's missing the feathers on his his two or his four primaries, which some vet, um, who shall probably end up in a fiery place when he dies, but actually damaged those. So he is easily frightened. I mean, he sits with me in here every night. And he's a really sweet bird, but he's easily frightened because he doesn't have a sense of balance. So I found that's the best way to cut his nails is just call him up to the side of the cage while he's in it and clip his nails there, and he seems to be okay with that. Oh, he'll fight me a little bit, but I mean, it's more of a play for him to fight me than anything else.
I remember the toenail video once you did in the very beginning. I think it's now about probably 10 years old. And back then, Sugar, um, she had no good balance back then. So you really were careful to just lift her toe a bit and allow her to have the foot on the perch so she doesn't, yeah, fall over.
Yeah, yeah, she's got better balance now, but I still have to watch it. I can't pull a foot up too far because she'll get nervous. But she's pretty easy to
So
do her nails.
Giselle said, thank you for your advice with Caesar. And Spirit says, thanks for the help with the budgies. No problem. We are here to help, so you
Yeah,
can
that's what
always
we're here
ask.
for. That's what we're here for, isn't it, Cecil? Oh, you said yes? Is it mm? You're quiet today. You haven't said much. You've been pretty quiet. Oh, you need another piece of wood? Here. How about that piece of wood? Here.
Oh, look at all these wood pieces.
Yeah, he's chewed up a piece of wood I gave him earlier, so. You don't want that one? Is that one better? Yeah. Okay. Lively group today. Cecil, are you going to come over there and start nipping at me again? What are you doing? What is it about? Yes, there's wood back there, but I don't know. If you want to stay over there, you can, but just don't nip at me, okay?
He's standing there just like that. Oh my. Shy guy. Completely
Cecil,
unlike.
shut.
Yeah, it's that imposter Cecil, and real Cecil is somewhere else partying in Las Vegas.
Cecil's idea of a party in Las Vegas would be like in the movie Go.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be the Englishman in that movie.
Would you? Oh.
Set the place on fire, huh? Right? Right, Cecil? Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Giselle.
we got a
Thank you.
donation from Giselle, about $20. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank
And we
you.
can play the
Yeah,
video.
we can. Oh, let's see. Where are we? Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you could say thank you, could you say thank you?
I think he
This
says this with its eyes.
this bird is so smart. It's just the one thing he doesn't seem to care about is talking. Once in a while, he'll do it, but he just doesn't. He does so much. Maybe he's already got a full plate. He does so much. Yeah, he has so many different personalities. I was just happy to have one personality come out because you didn't have one when I got you. No. And then you showed me a whole bunch more. This is the odd personality. When he just kind of that's almost the way he looked when I first got him. Except he wouldn't have moved his eye like he did. His eyes were kind of in one position, his beak was open, and he didn't do anything. Come here. Hey, come here. We're gonna do come here. Come on. Come on. Is Cecil the cockatoo? Hello. Is Cecil the cockatoo? You won't let me do that either. He's really in the mood today. I thought
What's up?
maybe I could get him to do that, but he won't. He's like, I'm just going to be who I am right now and leave me alone. Now he's up in my face. Isn't he, KK? Hmm? Hmm? I'm guessing the camera angle here. Can't
So
see the
we
screen.
have a question from Jocelyn who asked where you get your parts for toys, because obviously Cinnamon has developed to be a prolific wood chewer and chews a lot amount from her budget.
Yeah, I get it from birdtoyparts.com, but they won't sell to you unless you're a sanctuary or a business. But if you go to birdtoyparts.com, they have a link to their retail end. Um, and then you can buy from the retail side. Yeah, it's hard to find parts. Fortunately, bird toy parts, they have just about everything I need. There's a few other things I have to get elsewhere, but there you when you buy, it's like you buy 30, 60, 120. Some of them are 144 at a time. You can't buy onesie twosies. They don't sell that. Well, if you want to buy full toys, but if you're talking about toy parts, they always sell them in bulk. So that's where these come from,
Mhm.
and these baskets come. I mean, most things come from. I get these from there.
Mhm.
Um, these come from there. These come from there, but Cecil modifies them. He has to bend the ends so he can hold on to them better.
That's Cecil.
These, I think you can get these from Boutique. I get them from their wholesale side, but they don't always have them either. You'll order 30 and get 7 or something, But Cecil likes these. He likes them. He takes them apart and then he plays with the individual parts too, or he puts them back together. So that's another place that has toys, Birdie Boutique. The main thing is you want to get your parts from a place that does not have birds, okay? Because you don't want the chance of getting disease from feather dust, that kind of thing. So Birdie Boutique, they have a retail side. So. And one of the best things you can get at Birdie Boutique is he has a DVD on first aid, and now there's a book on first aid. And there's somebody else who did a first aid book, which is absolutely ridiculous. Every page like tells you almost nothing and says, go to an avian vet. And I know the avian vet who wrote it, and I wouldn't buy that book. But the one that Dr. Burkett wrote, and no, I don't want you throwing that on the floor. Yep. I can't get it to go back in now. Come on. What are you doing? What are you
Let's
doing?
start the cows. You guys, have you sensed it's time?
You're silly. You're silly. They're getting ready to, they're starting to wake up, so it must be time. What time is it? Oh, yeah. 3, 2, 1, 0. My watch says. Well, thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for the super chat. And, whew, week's going by fast. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, have a good time. Bye bye.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for moderating, Amy.
Thank you for the live stream.
It's our pleasure, isn't it, Cecil? Isn't it?
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.